Hello, hello, and welcome to Self Love Friday. I came on here a minute earlier today just to check the setup and the lighting and the camera, and we seem to be okay. I'm just going to adjust some lighting here so that I don't look like I'm sitting under a palm tree. Hello, hello, thank you for being here. Welcome to Self Love Friday. And today, as you've seen in the title, the topic is the real you. So what do I mean by that? Before I get on to that, do let me know in the chat where you're joining me from. It's lovely to have you here, and thank you for joining me. So let's talk about the real you. I'm going to start with something that I heard yesterday on a discussion on Clubhouse, and this guy just blew me away when he said, the real you will always make demands on the you that you have become. You just think about that for a moment. The real you will always make demands on the you that you have become. And I want to talk about this. So what does it mean to me, and why am I so excited about this one single statement? Here I go. Have you ever had a major disappointment, or what you perceived as a really big setback? Maybe you were studying for an exam and the result wasn't what you wanted. Maybe you were in a relationship that came to an end. Maybe you were living in a home and renting it, and it was sold out from under you, so you no longer had that home. Lost a job, loss of a job, loss of a loved one. Life can throw at us so many curveballs, and what seems small for one person can be really, really big for another person, and can result in a real setback, a real deep disappointment. Hi, Erin, and welcome. Yes, you have experienced that. Yeah, I know you have. And we were chatting about this earlier, and I'm feeling so passionate about it. I have had many such instances, whether it's been in my personal life, work life, and so as we've discussed many times before on this channel and in my talks, it is so important to feel those feelings. So that is definitely the first step. Acknowledge what has happened. Acknowledge the effect that it's having on you. Acknowledge that disappointment, that sometimes feeling of being absolutely crushed, and like you just don't know what the next step is going to be, or where to go from here. Like, what's next? What's next? This was my expectation. This was my hope. This was that I built towards. Everything that I put in was in this direction, and now it's shifted. Now I don't know what's next. I can't see the future. It's so important to acknowledge that feeling, to acknowledge all the feelings that come out of that, and really feel them, as we've discussed so many times. But then there's some more feeling to be done. And this is where the real you comes in. Beyond those feelings, those obvious feelings, the feelings of disappointment, of sadness, of heartbreak, when that setback happens, when that trauma has taken place, and there are all those feelings that are clearly linked to the experience, if you feel deeper and you listen more intently, listen deeper, what is your inner essence telling you? What feelings are below all of those feelings? When you're involved in a setback or a trauma or a disappointment, the feelings are clear. It's disappointment, it's sadness, it's grief. All of those are valid, and they're very obvious. I hate to use that word, but it's true. They're obvious. They're obviously connected. The stimulus matches the output. It makes sense. What you're feeling makes sense. And what I'm suggesting is digging deeper than that. What's below that? What does the real you have to say about this? Because I'll tell you, that's where you might find a surprise. It's important that when you're in that space and you're feeling those feelings and you're acknowledging what you've been through, is that you don't feel like you need to settle in that setback. Hi, JJ, and welcome. Anger too. That's a big one for me too, JJ. Anger, and so often we direct that anger at ourselves as well as at the situation. especially when you are a person who takes accountability and you own your life and you own your journey forward. Often that comes with not blaming others, not blaming situations, and the anger can so often be directed at self. However, below that, there's more. So it's about not settling into the setback, because so often that can be the case, because we give ourselves the space to feel it, we give ourselves the space to really acknowledge what's going on, and then we could settle in. We could settle into that that feeling of anger and frustration that might become our state of being. We can settle into that disappointment and think, oh, well, that wasn't for me. I went for it. I didn't make it. It wasn't for me. And literally settle into that setback. And JJ, I know that you've used this analogy term before, is go there, but don't unpack. And a fantastic other saying that I've come up with recently is, when you're going through hell, don't stop. Keep going. Because yes, you might need to go through it. Yes, that might be happening. You might be going through what you're going through, but don't settle into your setback. Don't accept that as a mantle for yourself. Like the examples that I used earlier, let's say losing the house that you love and you're living in. Don't settle for, oh, well, then I don't deserve a house. Don't settle for, I didn't make that exam, so I just won't get that qualification. You don't have to settle for, that relationship didn't work out, so I'm not made for relationships. Also in Clubhouse yesterday in a conversation, I heard a very, very interesting point somebody was making about working with a client. It was a coach, and he was working with a client, and the whole premise of the workshop that they were in was about getting into healthy relationships and connecting with like-minded people with the potential for a relationship. And he asked everyone in the workshop, are you single, or are you in a relationship? And one of the people kept saying, I am divorced. And all he kept saying was, I am divorced. And the coach kept reiterating the question in different ways and saying, are you single, or are you in a relationship? Are you single, or are you in a relationship? And he kept saying, I am divorced. When they dug into this, that man had been divorced 22 years prior to that day. And he had taken on that experience as his identity. And he was wondering why he couldn't attract a relationship, why he couldn't attract somebody who was a good match for a relationship. So yes, JJ, as you say, don't move in. He had moved into the status of being divorced. And that's what I mean when I say don't settle into your setback. Feel it, acknowledge it, have those feelings. I mean, JJ, you talk about anger, there's sadness, there's disappointment, there's all of that. Feel them, acknowledge them, they're real, give them space. Just don't move in, don't settle into that setback. You don't have to take that on as a new identity. And so that's where we start listening deeper. What is stirring inside of you? What is pushing you forward? What is saying there's more? What is telling you get up and try again? I like to talk about true essence. Within each of us, we have our true essence. And our true essence is individual. It's not, this is about the real you. Won't look the same as the real me. And when we're in that space and we've felt all those feelings, it's about seeing what's below that. Because so often the world does sort of accolade struggle and trauma. And there are messages coming to you saying, don't celebrate too loudly because you're having a good time, but so-and-so isn't. So keep it down. And so that's when we could get into a pattern of quieting our inner voice that says, get up, go for this again. Do it. Just because it didn't work once or twice or maybe even 3 times doesn't mean you want to give up. Your real you is going to push you to be your best self. The real you is always pushing you to be your best and your personal best. Not the best according to media, not the best according to your family, not the best according to some social ideal, the best for you. And that's what I mean when I say listen deeper. feel deeper. Feel beyond the obvious, immediate feelings. Push yourself further. What does your true essence demand of you? And I love that saying, the real you will always make demands on the you that you have become. For example, I'm divorced and I have started businesses before. Starting a business is tough. Right now I'm in my second marriage and I'm starting a business again. It's not my second business, there have been more. I could have moved into, like that man did, I am divorced. I would never have connected with Cornelius and tried again and had this wonderful opportunity of doing it again. I could have moved into, I'm not a business owner, I tried it, it didn't work, and continued as an employee. And these are just examples. Remember, these are just my personal examples. This is about my personal best. However, my true essence, the real me who's been making demands of me, the real me knows that I flourish inside a love relationship, knows that I flourish as an entrepreneur with ideas. Beyond that, not only as an entrepreneur with ideas, but specifically as someone who's leading a love revolution. So perhaps those businesses didn't work for a very good reason. I wasn't in the right business. Had I taken on and settled into that setback and decided, oh, well, it's not for me, I would never have found my true path, my true passion. So listen deeper, feel deeper. What are the feelings that are driving you? What is pushing you to get up in the morning? And this is where, as usual, I come to you with a challenge. Take some time this weekend and try and connect with yourself on the deepest, deepest level. Beyond your current circumstances, beyond even the goals and dreams and hopes that you have already identified for yourself, beyond your feelings in the moment, try and get quiet with yourself, try and connect with a deeper part of yourself, and try and get to that essence. What is your essence demanding of you? What demands is the real you placing on the you that you've become? Because believe me, there is always more. There is always room for us to become better than our current personal best. There is always an opportunity for us to stretch ourselves to a better version than we are today. And I really believe that right here, right now, you are perfect. And you can step into that perfection in more ways every single day. JJ, let's see. JJ says, when you go into anything new, job, relationships, always trust. Don't trust the other people or the circumstance. Trust yourself that you will survive should it not work out as planned. Exactly. And not only survive, survival at first, yes, and thereafter flourish, because we can use whatever works or doesn't work, we can use it as food for our soul. We can use it to grow ourselves further and further into our own personal best. So take some time for you, and take some time to dig past what you already know. Feel deeper than what you already feel. I'll give you an example. So often we have a dream picture for our life and a goal, and that's what we're going to get. And then we get it. And then what? If you don't constantly have the next picture and the next picture and the next picture, not from, as I said earlier, not from family expectations, not from social ideals, not from what the media is telling you, but from what's coming from deep within you. Keep connecting to the next picture and the next picture, and you will keep becoming your own personal best. And that's really what we're all here for at the end of the day, is self-actualization. So keep going. JJ, don't forget to celebrate. That is so important. Thank you. You know me so well. I'm always jumping to the next push. Yes, the celebrations are as important. So as you dig, I've spoken about setbacks and disappointments, and now I've spoken about achievements. So when you get to that achievement, just as when you get that setback or that disappointment, you have to feel all those feelings. When you achieve those achievements, you achieve those milestones, you achieve those next steps, celebrate along the way. Those feelings are as important, maybe more important, because of how they feed our nervous system, how they feed our soul. Really feel that. Feel the celebration. Acknowledge what you've done. Pat yourself on the back. um, I did a Tony Robbins seminar last weekend, and that was a big part of it. Patting ourselves on the back. Very, very important. Do that. Feel that. And then remember to feel deeper. Connect deeper. What is the real you demanding of you? What is the real you demanding of the you that you have become? So on that note, that is self-love from me today, is listen and feel what the real you is telling you. Don't settle in your setback, and don't skip out on your achievements. Feel your feelings, celebrate your wins, and then move forward. Keep dreaming, keep reaching, keep listening deeper and feeling deeper. Love yourself more, love yourself better. Erin, thank you for being here, and it's my pleasure. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for sharing your energy, and I really, really am pleased to know that this can serve you. Please share this video. Please like and subscribe and share this video so that it can help more people. And enjoy digging deeper, feeling deeper, reaching further to hear from the real you this weekend. Ciao for now. Mwah. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye.